everyone else jumped off of a bridge, would you? I'm sure you've all heard this question before, and you've probably always thought to yourself, of course I wouldn't. That's a dangerous thing to do, and I would never put myself at risk just because others were stupid enough to do so. Well, what if I told you that, while I admire how much faith you have in yourself, there's a good chance you are wrong. And in a situation where everyone else was jumping, you would probably jump too. Other people have much more of an impact over our actions than we know about. We look to others when we are unsure of what to do. We follow whatever is normal because we fear that if we don't, it will lead to rejection, and groups can enhance our individual beliefs. All of this means we don't have complete control over our actions, which has the potential to put us in very, very dangerous situations. When we don't know what to do, we look to others to guide us. Imagine a situation where you're just getting into skincare and you need to get a moisturizer. You have it narrowed down to 2 options, but you're not quite sure which one to get. You want to be sure to get the best one, but you just really don't know which one that is. Then your friend comes up to you, and she tells you that she uses one of them over the other. So what do? Well, you're going to assume that your friend is a genius and go with her recommendation. This describes conformity based off of the informational function. The informational function of conformity works in ambiguous situations where we are uncertain about how to act. This uncertainty causes us to assume that everyone around us is a genius in that they're better informed on the situation than we are. The end result is conformity as a means of gaining information. So if you are unsure if you should be jumping off a bridge, you might look to see what everyone else is doing. If everyone else is jumping, you might assume it's the correct thing to do and just jump with them. We also modify our actions so that we can fit in with whatever is normal. People start drinking just because all their friends are doing it. People follow fashion trends and buy whatever everyone else owns, and people start gossiping about someone that they like if everyone else is talking bad about them. These are all examples of the normative function of conformity. With the normative function, fear that being different will cause us to be rejected socially causes us to follow whatever the norm is. A norm is just any action, behavior, or belief that is considered to be normal in the sense that most people do it. We believe that if we change ourselves to fit in with these norms, people will be less likely to reject us. Going with the norm is so extreme that sometimes people would do it even if it means being wrong rather than being different. Ash's line study perfectly showcases this. Participants were given a line and tasked to match it to one corresponding in length. Before participants could give their own answer, however, several other people who the participant thought to be others in the experiment like themselves gave their answer. These other people were actually Confederates, and after a few trials, started all giving the same blatantly wrong answer. Oftentimes after hearing this, the participant then just gave the same answer as everybody else just so they wouldn't have to be different. So if everybody else was jumping off of a bridge, jumping would become the normal thing to do. You may then jump because you're scared people will dislike or reject you if you don't. Group settings can also modify our actions as groups have a tendency to enhance individual beliefs. Say you've just left an exam, and on the way out, you're thinking that it was slightly unfair. Then you run into a group of people all talking about the exam outside with the same initial opinion you had of it kind of sort of not really being the most fair thing ever. You join in their conversation and start talking about the exam, and coming out of it, you all realize that that exam was the most unfair thing that any of you have ever written ever. This is an example of group polarization, which describes the tendency for groups to come to more extreme decisions than each individual would on their own. So, if everybody in a group had a moderate opinion on a situation initially, a group discussion will cause the group to form an extreme opinion on it. So, if you and a group were deciding if it was safe to jump off a bridge, and at the start you were all thinking maybe, sort of, possibly it could be safe, after talking about together, you'll decide that jumping off a bridge is definitely 100% a safe and responsible thing to do, and you all may jump together. So, after all of this, I would like to pose my initial question to you again. If everyone else jumped off of a bridge, would you? Maybe you still think your answer's no. And if that's the case, then let me just say, I really hope for your sake you never find yourself in that situation. Thank you.